Loading, loading, and we are live.
Nice. Tuesday, lot going on. We got breaking news, man, even today, right?
Oh,
We got breaking news happening at the Supreme Court level.
Hopefully we'll find out by the end of this.
That's going to be it, man. That's what we're going to do. We're going to try to, hopefully, we're going to last. We made that story number 5 so we can give a live feedback about what's happening right now as we record this. It's coming up on about 11 a.m. right now on a Tuesday Eastern time. So Supreme Court's going to be coming out with their decisions. The big one being birthright citizenship. So we're going to be talking about that at the end of the show. What do you think of there, Anthony? You seeing stuff come out?
Yeah, it just came out already.
Ooh, we did.
You want to
kick off the show with birthright citizenship?
I mean, it just came out like
All
6 minutes ago.
Here we go. We got breaking news right here on the Patrick Carr Show. If you're joining us right now, birthright citizenship, it just came out. Anthony, what do we got going on, brother?
They rejected Trump's proposal.
They rejected it. So birthright citizenship, therefore, will remain in effect as it has for the beginning of time for America, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you all are not aware, birthright citizenship was under, well, you could say it was under scrutiny from the current administration. And we just get a ruling from the Supreme Court right now that they are going to uphold what is currently in the 14th Amendment as we have read it for, well, since the 14th Amendment was created. And what it says there is that you have a right to be a citizen if you were born on U.S. soil. It doesn't matter if your parents were here illegally, came here illegally, or overstayed a visa. If you were actually born on U.S. soil, then you became a U.S. citizen. Donald Trump, in his first day in office, attempted to have an executive order that would have rewrote what it means to actually be birthright, rewrote what birthright actually means. The key words that they were using within the 14th Amendment were the jurisdiction thereof. And what his administration was arguing is that somebody who came here illegally and had a child, that child was not under the jurisdiction of the United States, in fact, was under the jurisdiction of the home of the parents. And therefore, they were not a citizen of the U.S. And this, of course, was, even though it was an executive order that Donald Trump put forth, it was shot down by lower courts. And so the Trump administration pushed this up to the Supreme Court in hopes that they would be able to push it through. It looks as though that was denied by the Supreme Court. And Anthony and I had a lot of talks back and forth this morning leading up to this about what that would mean if this did pass, and why it actually is happening. And, I think that a lot of Americans right now, Anthony, are torn by this, not because they don't understand what birthright means, but because I think they realize that there are people that are attempting to abuse this system, and that there are individuals that fall, I guess you could say, in a gray area right now. I'll give people an example. If an individual is coming from Mexico and crosses a river as they are 9 months pregnant, they arrive in the United States and within the hour have a child. I believe that people look at that on a whole differently than somebody that was here on a green card or a visa. They overstay that visa and they happen to have a child while they're here in the U.S. And I believe that what a lot of people are saying is that we look at this differently. And I think that's why you saw such a controversy around this, which you haven't seen before, because you see Americans that are looking at the system and they're saying it is being abused. We know that something should be done about it. But I believe that what the Trump administration did here is they took it a little bit too far. And when you're trying to find a way around amending an amendment by looking at the words that are within it through an executive order, it's going to be a very difficult thing for the court to get their mind around, even a very conservative court like we have right now. So Trump's executive order is struck down. Birthright citizenship will remain being born in the United States, regardless of the citizenship of your parents. Anthony, what are your thoughts on this one, brother?
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of happy that Supreme Court ruled against it, because personally, I think there was there's loopholes to everything, if I'm being honest. And yes, there's a thing, but I feel like it's the American right to be born here. If you're born here, you're an American. That's how it's been. That's how it should be. And yeah, depending on how the loophole is, but still, it's been around for decades.
You're right. I mean, this has been the American way. You come onto our soil, the child is born here, that child is an American citizen. What I found very interesting, though, as we were looking at both sides of this, because we didn't know which way this was going to go, Anthony, is that when we saw it, this is not the way that most of the rest of the world works. The rest of the world, for the most part, works on blood right citizenship. meaning that if you are a Russian, you are born Russian. That is who you are. If your parents are Russian and you're born somewhere else, you are Russian. All right. And if you are somewhere and you come into Russia, if your parents aren't Russian, you ain't Russian. All right. So a lot of the world works on blood, not on just the, I guess you'd say, English common law would be the best way to look at it. And I think there are advantages and disadvantages to both, obviously. Some people would argue that places like Russia and others that have blood right citizenships don't have the same immigration problems that the United States has. To which my counter argument that would be, who the heck is trying to immigrate over to Russia? So I think that, you know, when you look at this, it's a complex issue. I don't think that amending what birthright means was the right approach to this problem. I think that the right approach here is to look at state laws and what we can do to better enforce our immigrations and custom laws that are already on the books right now. And I think everyone can agree that we want something that's fair and equitable for everybody. And we also want to be cognizant of the fact that individuals are attempting to come to this country for a reason, because what we have here is awesome and great, and who won it. But because it is awesome and great, we have to do everything that we can to protect that awesome and greatness. And that means having people that come to this country that believe in American values. And what I see right now across this country are people coming here who don't believe in those things. And I believe that Americans are looking at that as a whole and saying something needs to be done about this. And like him or not, one of the reasons that Donald Trump has such a following is that he's attempting to do something about what Americans feel. Whether it passes in the Supreme Court or not, there are a lot of people that side with him, and they're saying at least he's trying to do something that is going to help this country in their opinion. Other people are going to say, hey, listen, it's a melting pot, and that melting pot is what makes America great. I can see both sides of this, and like these things that go to the Supreme Court, there's a reason they go there, because there's a gray area that needs to be drawn, and that's why we have the Supreme Court in this country. I back up what the Supreme Court says because it's law, and we don't whine about it. What we look at is we say, if we want to make effective change, what can we do at the state level that's going to make things more effective, that's going to enforce our immigrations and custom policy, that's going to bring better people into the United States, and that's going to do everything we can to protect the values of this country that we hold so dear, especially as we come up on July the 4th.
Yep.
Any more thoughts on that one, brother?
No, just breaking news. Crazy.
This is huge, man.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine how many people this would have affected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, this technically would have affected millions in the future for sure. The law itself was not retroactive, but it would have it would have affected millions without a doubt in the future right now. And when I think about this, right, I think it was the right move for the Supreme Court. I do. Something about going at this from rewriting what words mean within the amendment, in my opinion, is just a stretch from the beginning. All the lower courts had shot this thing down. I think they had a real uphill battle on this.
Yeah. And it's like saying too, it's like rewriting the Second Amendment. Like, what is the right to bear arms? What could that mean? Like it's things like that like we know what it means in amendments, and so rewriting it and making it doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think the court made the right decision here. And folks, I mean, listen, if it was cut and dry, then we would have seen this court push it through. If there's any Supreme Court that would have pushed through this executive order, it's this one. And the fact that they didn't, it shows it was a far reach on this. And again, the answer is not going to the Supreme Court and trying to get this pushed through. The answer is at the state level. It's with going ahead and making effective laws at the state level, because let's just call a spade here, Anthony, okay? Here's what the problem is. Nobody who is a Republican on the right side, let's say on the right versus the left, a Republican is not sitting over there and going, boy, I'm really worried about these green card visas that are coming over here from, I don't know, from Spain. They're not. Let's call it what it is. What they're talking about is Middle and Southern American countries, right? Your Mexico, your Guatemala, your El Salvador, the people that are coming up here. That's what many right-wing Republican Americans, Godfire and Brimstone, Rust Belt, Southern Georgia, you name it, those people are talking about. That's truly what we're saying right now. And so my thought is, if you do feel that way, that people that are here illegally, you're trying to prevent that from happening, I have a better way to take a first step. Okay? Because here's what I hope that my Republican friends can agree with me on. There is a group of people from those countries that are majority hardworking, good, great Americans. I'm going to call them that. They're here. They're good people, all right? We worked alongside them. They go in the same Publix line as what I do. They're no different than what I am. And then there's the people who do crime and do bad things when they come to America. And in my opinion, the best way to solve that is for the federal government to get involved and to set federal minimums for aggravated crimes committed by illegal aliens that are here. So if you want to go commit an aggravated crime, like an aggravated assault or battery, and you want to commit that crime where you're on American soil, we need to make sure that those people spend a federal time in prison. Now, some people would tell me, no, Patrick, ship them back to wherever they're from. Yeah, you don't solve the problem doing that. And yes, you will have prisons that are overrun in the beginning. There's no doubt about it. We're going to have more people that are going to be arrested. However, though, you will send a message to people that come here illegally that if you are going to be that person, you come here, you work hard, and for crying out loud, give that person a pathway to citizenship once they do come here, if that's the way we want to go. But we need to send a message to people in this country that if you are here illegally, all right, which is who a lot of the people that were for this executive order of Donald Trump, that is who they were really trying to go after. Yep. All right. Then the best first step that you can take is to say, hey, we're not going to put up with an individual coming here, committing aggravated crimes against Americans, and then just being shipped back or getting a slap on the wrist. No, you're going to come here if you are and be a model citizen in this country. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that that person can't come here. It doesn't mean that the person, their son or daughter that's born here has any less rights. What it means is that if you're going to do this, then come here and be a model citizen. But what's happening, and the reason this kind of stuff is getting so much of a gray area, is that Americans are looking at it and going, you know what? I'm tired of seeing these stories in the news about so-and-so who was here illegally, and they committed this crime, and then they're out of jail in 5 years. That's where this anger comes from. It's not directed specifically at birthright citizenship. It's directed at how do we stop the influx of people that are coming in here in order to take advantage of our laws. It speaks to a bigger issue not being addressed by state level governments right now. Does that make sense? I mean, I feel like that to me is the real crux of the issue that we have. It's not just the simplicity of, birthright citizenship. It goes much deeper than that for many Americans. And to ignore that is to ignore the key issue that most people are feeling right now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. And I think a lot of the people that do come over here, like, there's a good majority of them that are actually trying to make an American living, actually make a good living for their family, try to be good, go to work, do all this stuff. And then there are going to be some bad apples out there that are coming here doing, selling drugs and stuff like that. So like, there's definitely those bad crowd, but those crowds should be made an example of. But then I definitely don't think that it should affect the people that are actually coming here trying to make a good living for their family.
Yeah. Interesting ruling. I mean, we were waiting for this one. We thought it might be towards the end of the show, but breaking news right here. The Supreme Court is going to uphold what we have always thought the 14th Amendment meant, which is actually being born on American soil does make you an American citizen. And Trump's executive order is, in fact, shut down. All right, folks, I want to move on to what was going to be our first story of the day. And, of course, now it moves in to our second story here. I couldn't believe this, Anthony, when I actually read it this morning. I mean, you couldn't believe it either, could you?
No, this is crazy.
This is crazy. Folks, we covered this story yesterday. And for those of you who do not live in Orlando, just get ready to have your mind blown at the incompetence and the insanity that is Orlando. All right. On 2:30 in the morning on Sunday morning, there was a shooting right in the heart of downtown Orlando. For those of you not aware, two groups decided that they were going to get in a fist fight with one another. One person decides that they're going to punch a woman in the face. The brother of that woman takes out a gun in an attempt to punch the other person with that gun. The gun goes off and shoots his own sister in the foot. The police are called and detain everybody there at the scene. How many arrests do you think were made? Anyone? Zero. Zero arrests were made in a shooting in downtown Orlando less than 48 hours ago. A gun went off, shot someone. Two groups were fighting. People were detained by the police that were involved, and we have let those people go. If you want to know the problem with Orlando, in one instance, one, stupid people come down. Stupid people have firearms. Firearms are used, and nobody is arrested, and so firearms continue to come back to downtown Orlando. This is by far the most moronic thing I've ever heard in my life. There are a minimum 3 laws that were broken right here, a minimum. And you want to tell me that when two groups get into a fight and OPD shows up, the choice is, you know what? The guy was pistol whipping another guy and his gun went off. Let's go ahead and call the ambulance, which they get the person to the hospital, arrest nobody, and open our investigation and see what happens. If you want to know why the city of Orlando is in decay, it's because of exact situations like this.
I was going to say,
this is pathetic, Anthony.
You forgot one thing in that circle.
Tell me.
Crime going down.
Oh, yeah. So, and then, yeah, crime goes down at the very top because an arrest is not made. So, this is why people don't trust government. This is why, when OPD and Chief Smith sits in front of me, I have to be critical right now of his department. I mean, Chief Smith, OPD, what are you doing? Our goal is to clean up downtown, fix Orlando. And you don't fix a problem by detaining people, letting them go and saying, you know what, we'll figure it out when we figure it out. Because everybody knows what that means, that nothing is going to happen. If you're a citizen of Central Florida, this should concern you. Because imagine this. Can anyone think in their mind that two groups get into a fist fight at 2:30 in the morning? A guy brings out a gun to brandish it to hit another guy, and the gun goes off. The police arrive and go, all right, well, I guess we'll figure out what happened later. You go on home. I can't fathom this right here. And the only thing I can think of is that they are attempting to lower the perceived number of arrests, or I should say this, lower the perceived number of offenses that are happening in downtown Orlando so that they can say that the city is safer. There is no other reason that you do not arrest an individual who their firearm went off in a fight that they had with another person. To me, I don't even understand what kind of police work this is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, Chief Smith, OPD, you came on my show and you gave me straight talk. How the hell do you show up at 2:30 in the morning on a Sunday where somebody has been shot, a gun has been used in an aggravated assault of another person, and you elect to make no arrest whatsoever? Zero. I don't know. Nobody does. Because nobody would think, Anthony, that no way, Patrick. Like, really? They didn't arrest anybody. People got shot, guns went off, and it's like police came and were like, all right, give me your ID, go on home. Like, I guess we're just getting pulled over for what? Running a red light around here? Is this what acceptable police work is right now in the city of Orlando? Is this what people like Patty Sheehan of District 4, and what's her name, Rose of District 5, do you find this to be acceptable in your districts? Now, given I believe this was in, let's see here, this was going to be in Commissioner Shan Rose's district. I mean, Shan, is this acceptable? Do you think that people should be able to just fire off guns during fights and just not get arrested even after they're detained by the police? Is that the kind of leadership that we're expecting in Orlando now? When are people going to be held accountable for what happens? What happens when that guy brings a gun back downtown? Because obviously there's no penalty for it. What happens when young men and women read this story and they decide that they're going to take it into their own hands and come downtown with firearms? Mm-hmm. And here's the question I would ask you. Please, Chief Smith, an OPD, you came on this show and you said, oh, listen, we're getting all these guns downtown. Okay, cool, good. Do you maybe think that you could stop that stuff from happening when you arrest people that use them? Call me crazy here, but that might actually do something to the number of guns that are coming downtown when somebody illegally discharges a firearm and strikes another person and you actually put cuffs on them and take them to jail.
It doesn't.
This is mind-numbing to me. Whoever this officer is. Okay, let me just look at the camera here. Chief Smith, whoever the officer was who arrived on scene, detained and released somebody who fired a gun in an assault of another person and hits another individual and is released, open an investigation, do something, go out there and make the arrest. Now, there's still an opportunity you can do it. Just because you did the wrong thing at the scene doesn't mean it can't be fixed. This, Anthony, I couldn't believe this when I read it.
Yeah. One thing that
come on, man,
doesn't make sense to me is like, oh, we seized a lot of guns in downtown, but crime is down. I'm like, well, how does that make sense? So we're seizing a lot of guns, but then the crime is down. But I'm like, it doesn't. I don't think crime is really down. I think it's there, but we're just not arresting people.
Well, it's a very interesting point. Let's take that into story number 2 then, because that's the one I want to story on kind of a more, let's say, a broad scale, all right? It's the numbers versus the feelings that people have in downtown Orlando right now. So I want to first of all say that what we're hearing from leaders in Orlando is that it is the safest it's ever been. But the people who live and work in downtown Orlando and surrounding areas, they feel something different. And so I want to turn your attention first to Commissioner Shan Rose. She's over District 5, which I would call it like on the north side of downtown Orlando. She says, quote, "The data speaks for itself, the lowest crime we have ever seen." And the police have the chart to back up what she's saying. Okay, I understand that. From 2023 to 2025, the city's homicides dropped from 31 to 10. That's down 68%. It's the lowest number since 1971. Shootings fell from 267 to 157, down 41%. Burglaries down from 4,075 to 2,336. That's 42% overall. And crime is down 22%. Great. The numbers from OPD show that crime is down. But that's not how people are actually looking at this. It's not what people feel, Anthony. I'll give Evan Delaney, who owns a baker shop down there. He says his traffic is down 10 to 15% when it comes to people that walk by his bakery. And he says, quote, "It's dying." And quote, "disappearing down there." And I think that everybody understands what that means. You have all of these places that continue to close downtown. In total, there are 16 downtown, what I would call hotspots, that have been closed in 2026 alone. Now, do the math there, everybody. That's about 2.5 spots downtown every single month that are closing their doors. I personally went downtown on Sunday and drove through it in the afternoon. It was like a ghost town. Even on a day when there was soccer that was going on, it was a ghost town at noon when I drove through on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in downtown Orlando. And the point I'm trying to make here is that when you see things like this, where you have a city saying that everything is safe, and then you have the patrons that are in the city going, no, it ain't safe right now. We have a disconnect between leadership and what's actually happening on the ground. And that's the part that I don't understand. In fact, in their own survey of downtown, 83% of respondents said that it felt unsafe or very unsafe. That's 83 out of 100 people, everybody. That's the city's own survey of downtown says that it is safe to very unsafe, according to 83 out of 100 people. But yet the city is saying that it's safer than it's ever been. And the only thing I can think of, Anthony, is that it reverts back to story number 1, where when you have people that are committing crimes that are not getting arrested, when you see the fights in the streets that we have shown on our show, when you see the drug use that people have, when you see people sleeping and defecating all over the sidewalk and arrests are not being made, then you know what? The numbers look great, don't they? Because nobody's getting arrested. So look, everybody, look at our arrest numbers. They look awesome. Look, a person can fire off a gun at 2:30 in the morning in downtown Orlando, and they can just not even get arrested. But look, arrest numbers are down. People can fight in the middle of the street, can knock each other out for minutes on end. People can film it, and no arrests will be made. Arrest numbers are down. You can see people that are sitting there urinating on sidewalks out in front of bars while bar owners are sitting there trying to run a small business. But look, arrest numbers are down, everybody. So I don't know what you're talking about, everyone, because arrest numbers are down and this city is safe. Meanwhile, what I would ask Shan Rose is, if that is the case and this city is safer than it's ever been, then why are we still charging bars and clubs AMS fees? Why are we doing that? Why do we need more officers, according to OPD's own chief of police, downtown Orlando than ever before? Why do we need that if it's safer than it's ever been? None of this makes any sense at all. And so what it really shows is this, is that there's a narrative in this city that for too long has been painted by leadership. And unfortunately, the people who had the opportunity to call them out had something to do with I would say they are involved in the city. This is why I take such a big issue on this, Anthony. Is you and I, we don't have some big sponsor that we answer to. We don't have someone that we have to sit there and go, oh no, what's going to happen if they shut down my bar because I decide to speak out against Patty Sheehan or against Shan Rose because they're doing a crappy job? What's going to happen? I don't have to worry about that. And so I'm lucky in that respect right there. But a lot of people don't have that same luxury. And so the reason that we get so much into this, the reason that I want to talk to these people, the reason that I want to bring light to what's really happening in the city of Orlando is because it doesn't make sense once you pull back just like one peel of the onion. You go, this doesn't jive. This is not what I see actually happening within this city.
And also, we're saying that, like, how bad Orlando is. We're saying this because we love Orlando. We care about it. We want to see it become the city beautiful. We're just looking at what's going on and we're like, this doesn't make sense. Why aren't we doing it, making it cleaner? Just doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense, man. And it's sad. It's sad that you see such a disconnect between leadership and between small business owners. Because anybody who's walked through the streets of downtown recently knows what it's like. It sucks. Everybody who lives close to the downtown area knows crime is up. I don't need somebody to give me statistics to know what's really happening in front of me. Don't sit there and tell me that arrests are down, so crime is down. No, arrests are down and crime is being ignored. And I'm sorry, but at some point when you see guns going off and arrests not being made, you have no other option but to look at it that way. And so, the Patty Sheehans of the world and Shan Roses of the world and all these people can sit there and tell you that you should feel safe and feel safe on your front porch and feel safe to walk in the streets. No, you're not. Nobody is. Because everybody realizes what's happening. You have people down there that are looking for opportunities to break the law. They will break the law if given the opportunity, and we don't have enough enforcement of the law to stop them from doing that. And therefore, we have crime that's happening that is going uncaught, that's not being prosecuted, that's not being arrested even. I mean, if you can fire off a gun and hit somebody in downtown Orlando, be detained and released, what else can you be detained and released for?
Yep.
I think what is happening to this city?
Yeah, I think there's just like the policy just not being enforced is like a big key factor. And then kind of like a tease to the third thing for me, or for the third story, is that they're just spending money in spots that they shouldn't be spending money. They should be spending it in OPD, making it cleaner, arresting people, and with the AMS fees, having the bartenders pay for it. Why don't we take the money that we're having? We have a lot of money from what I've seen, and just pour that into OPD so that they have that, they can do the overtime, so that they can be in downtown and fix it and help it instead of relying on the bar owners to do it.
Yeah, I think one of the easiest fixes to downtown, if we're going to talk about the entertainment district, right? Okay, Pat, what would you do? Well, number one, if I was going to pay for an officer and officers are going to come down there off duty, then assign that officer to the place that pays for them. The person who pays for the AMS fee should be the person that receives the officer. What's happening right now is that number one, you're understaffed. And number two, those officers are just walking around to be able to, at their discretion, what they want to do. The problems with downtown and the problems with Orlando are not happening inside of the entertainment venues. They're happening on the streets, which is evident by what had happened on Sunday night. And when those things happen and there's zero enforcement except to release the people and hope for the best in the future, you can't expect that the city's going to just clean itself up. 16 folks since the beginning, 16 bars, clubs, venues, let's just call it that. 16 venues since let's see here, 6 months. Yeah. So 16 venues in 6 months have closed their doors. The city is becoming a ghost town. And if you want to know perhaps why there is less crime, well, when you have less people on the streets, less places that are even open in order for bad things to happen, it's inevitable you're going to have less crime. Yeah, you have less crime because there's less people to rob, less places to break into, less places for people to go. And I guess it almost looks to me like this. I mean, the only thing I can think of, Anthony, is that the city is treating this like a wildfire. Yeah. Okay, what do you do with a wildfire sometimes? You contain it, and then what? Let it burn. Just let it burn itself out. And it seems to me like that's what the Patty Sheehans of the world are doing. Mm-hmm. Or they're just saying, okay, listen, you know what? I've done this for such a long time. This fire is going to sit there and it's just going to continue to burn. I'm just going to let it continue to do that until it burns itself out. And what burning itself out looks like to the city commissioners, in my opinion, is that small businesses leave, these places shut down, and then the people that are causing the problems decide they're going to go somewhere else because they can't sit there outside of a Taco Bell or wait for a club or bar to close to start their problems. So they're going to take it somewhere else. And that's when you start to see the problems over in Mills and other places where people congregate right now. Currently, you don't have that because all of the problems are happening in the streets of downtown.
I almost feel like they're setting it to fail so that they can rebuild, but they're trying to destroy it as much as they can so they can make it their beautiful version that they want it to be.
I agree with you, but I would lead us into our third story of the day, Anthony. Very well. Nicely done. Thank you for the transition there.
You're
welcome. I have to talk about this because, Anthony and I get here, we talk about these stories and we tried our best to do a little bit of research. And as we dive into them, sometimes we get a little more frustrated because it just seems to us that none of it makes any sense about what's going on. And this one kind of caught my eye where I kind of came up with this things that paintings are still parking lots in Orlando. Anybody who follows any Orlando page or you follow Central Florida, you'll probably get these realtors that come up on your page and they'll tell you all these great things that are about to come to Orlando, like Church Street is going to be redone. Or in this case, there's a parking lot that's right next to the Kia Center where the Magic play. Right now, it's just some big empty parking lot that gets filled when there's some, a good game for the Magic. It's about 8.5 acres, folks. It's nothing right now. It just sits there on the side of I-4 for people to pass by every single day. Now, there is a name for what was supposed to go there. It's called West Court. It was a $500 million project. We're talking about restaurants, hotels, apartments, offices, multi-use spaces. It got the green light back in 2024. And they were promised shovels in the ground by the end of that year. Now, look over at that lot. It's still an empty lot here today, folks. So nothing has happened. And what I want to talk about is this. Why? Why is nobody building downtown? It's not alone. There was actually a tower, and that is supposed to be by Lake Eola, a 37-story tower. It has just been proposed. It still needs to be rezoned. And politicians say it's a true signal of confidence in the city of Orlando. But again, this is, only plans, only drawings that are coming from developers, and nothing is ever happening. I've seen these artist renditions of what, was it Church? Yeah, is it Church Street is supposed to look like, or Wall Street? Church.
I think it's
Church.
Yeah.
Church was supposed to be redone with the sidewalks and all this beautiful landscaping. Nothing. Was just down there.
I saw
Nothing.
that 2020, 21.
Yeah, it's all over the, go look on Instagram, put in Church Street, you'd find these artist renditions of this great stuff that's coming to Orlando. And I want people to understand why it's not happening. I don't care what BS people are telling you about developers. Here's what's really happening. Projects like the Westcourt project, they get funding from, let's say, a bank. That bank gives their funding based on an assessed, not value of the property, but what kind of income the property is going to bring in. So like, let's look at how much the rental is going to be when you rent those apartments, or how much they're going to be able to, sell those hotel rooms for a night that are going to be there, and how much the rent space is going to be, because that's going to determine the income for the bank. And so what eventually happens is when these projects are postponed, what the bank does is it looks at it and goes, you know what? I'm looking around downtown Orlando and I'm seeing that 16 businesses have left this area. I'm looking at rent values in the other current condos and apartments going down because nobody wants to live there. I'm looking at vacancy rates going up. And you know what? I don't want to give 70% anymore to this project. Somebody else is going to have to take on more risk. I'm only going to put in 60% of the value now, even if you're going to change. So they look at how much they're going to give. And so then you've got to try to come up with the rest of that funding, right? And so they turn to the city, they turn to private backers who want more out of the project. And so the project gets delayed because there's no funding. But the root of the problem is not in the bank or the developer. It's in the fact that they're looking at the project and it has less perceived value to the developer, less perceived value to the bank, because they don't think they're going to get as much out of it. And the reason? Because the area around is dying on the vine. When are people going to wake up to what is happening and the lack of leadership in this county and in this city? Like every day I could get on here and come up with another story about the ineptness and the ignorance of a council. How do you screw up such an easy project? I have no idea. I mean, you're talking about prime real estate in the #1 tourist capital of the world, set between the biggest tourist destination and the largest university, right next to the biggest hub spot for sports in the Kia Center in the entire city. And you can't get a shovel in the ground on that one. This city is hopeless if that's the case, which it is. And we can't get out of our own way, Anthony.
I'm sorry too, but like people keep saying like, oh, downtown is so big. It's all this stuff. But I'm like, downtown is really small.
Yeah.
Look at like Orlando compared to Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa. They're giant. We're really small compared to like all those major cities. And we're a major city, but like just our downtown is just so small. How can we not enforce it, make it great? It doesn't make sense to me. And
it's got like 3 streets. I mean, how hard is it to run 3 streets?
Exactly.
I mean, we literally have like 3 streets in downtown Orlando that are about a mile long. I mean, it's it.
And if you do a quick Google search of just downtown Orlando, you know what you're gonna get?
What?
Either crime, all this stuff about shootings, crime, all this stuff, or all these promises about these new buildings coming up or this new place coming in. And those are the only 2 things you see on the news. Nothing to fix it.
No. And it started with Buddy Dyer. I mean, Buddy Dyer, for those of you who are not familiar, has been in Orlando since like the beginning of time. He's been the mayor since I've been in Orlando, and I've been here for 20 years. Mm-hmm. Buddy Dyer's been mayor. All right. And Buddy Dyer's ultimate plan, which somehow he got people to believe in, was we're going to turn Orlando into some big park, right? And that by introducing parks into downtown Orlando, that somehow is going to solve the problems that we have, because that's really worked in a lot of cities. Let's just create more parks so that we can reduce the amount of homeless people, vagrancy, and problems that the city has. Let me know how that one works out for you there, Buddy Dyer. And now we've got a lame duck mayor who doesn't really care because he's been around for God knows how long, 24 years. And so he understands, hey, you know what, listen, didn't work out. None of these darn parks got built. Nothing in the city got better. But if I can just hold out for another couple of years or through the end of 2027, somebody else will take over and it'll be their problem. Let the fire just burn is what they're saying right now, because nobody cares enough to actually address the root issues, because addressing the root issues means you actually have to take enforcement of the law seriously and make this place awesome like it was 5 to 7 years ago. That's what people remember. And you still can do that. You can still bring great entertainment, restaurants, and families. You can still have great stuff at Lake Eola. You can still have those beautiful Sundays where you have these venues and that. I mean, it was great. You can still have that, but it's going to take leadership that actually wants to enforce laws, actually wants to make arrests, wants to actually help small business owners. And right now, there's not enough stomach for that right now. Instead, what we're attempting to do in this city is to doctor numbers, fadaji, arrest, not arrest. Meanwhile, everybody who ever walks the city at any time knows, one, it's either empty, or two, it's dangerous. You either get one of the two. You don't get just good. It's either empty at 6 p.m. or dangerous at midnight. Those are the two levels that you have in downtown Orlando.
I think too.
Boom.
Give him where it's due, because you know what? Maybe Buddy Dyer might have been really good when he first came to mayor office and all that stuff, but I think he's just looking to retire and just doesn't really care.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, and he's doing all these policies that are actually hurting the city. You might think it's good, but it's honestly hurting the city more than it is helping. And I think he's just trying to get out at this point.
He is. And I listen, I'm not blaming the guy. Like, I'm not saying, hey, listen, I blame him. 24 years, whatever, how long he's been in office, something like that. I mean, he's probably tired, probably sick of dealing with it.
Yeah.
Like, do I want another battle? No. You know what? So I'm going to show up to the city council meeting. I'll do my little part. Everybody says their piece. That's cool. Buddy Dyer, you know, I'm the guy on the voice of the trams at MCO, and yay. And I'm going to ride off into the sunset, and people will look back and not have a clue what I did for the city of Orlando. But you know, whatever. I'll be a plaque on a wall. And that's all that it is, in my opinion, at this point.
Do you think? I have a theory.
Okay.
Do you think that he's telling officers don't arrest or don't do this so that the crime goes down? So by the time he retires next year, he's like, oh look, my last couple years, like my crime rate went down, all this stuff, so it looks good on numbers, so we can retire and then leave it up to the next person that's like has to actually fix all the issues.
Do I think that he is doing that on purpose? I don't think I have enough information to be able to make that inference. Now, I will say this. Okay, let me say this though. Do I think it's a far stretch to think that a mayor of a city who's been there for a long time, who is now looking at his legacy, is not enforcing or not having as many meetings with the chief of police to enforce laws like he maybe once did 20 years ago when he was trying to build himself to a legacy and build into being a reelected mayor? Of course, I think that's very plausible. And I would think that most people would say that that's probably the case, because I think that's just human nature, perhaps, because you just want to get out. You don't want the problems. And hey, you know what? I've done my part. I've given what I'm supposed to give, type of deal. So I don't think that's out of the question at all, Anthony. Mm-hmm. I don't. I just, for me, I'm so passionate about this right now. And I'm not going to say who, but we sat down yesterday, as you know, with a small business, a club owner from downtown, and just sitting there for an hour, and we're right here just talking to one another about what's happening and what he has seen. And you have so many people that are affected by the ineptness of the leadership of Orlando. Mm-hmm. It's not like people think like I'm just talking about entertainment venues. It's not. It's restaurants. It's the apartments. It's condominiums. It's everybody who drives on I-4 and has to look over into the disgusting city that we have built that is old and decaying. I had a friend of mine that drove through the city and was like, why are all your buildings look like they were made in 1980s? Like they're streaking down the side from like the dirt and grime. Mm-hmm. Like you look around and you go, what has happened? And everybody knows it, but nobody wants to understand what's the problem. And the problem is that nobody wants to be in downtown. Nobody wants to be in the surrounding areas. And you know who's affected by that? The areas outside of downtown, like Altamont and Maitland and Lake Nona and Metro West and Dr. Phillips and all these places that go around in College Park. And they all go around Orlando right here. And if you don't think that it spreads for all my Central Floridians from there and out, when a major city like this is decaying and the leadership is too inept to do anything about it, you're wrong. Of course it does. It's like when you got a bad apple and you put it next to the good apple, what happens? Everybody knows the good apple becomes rotten. And it's spreading from there. And I think that this is not just one department like OPD. I don't think it's just one city council woman or man. I think it's an overall just complacency that is set in. And I can't be more evident by our first story, though, Anthony, where guns are going off and people are just being detained and released. At this point, that shows me part of the city is just giving up on the problem. And what we have, again, is just a situation of let the city burn, everybody. Because that's what we're doing. Throw that on the damn thumbnail, Anthony. It's just some fire with me around Orlando. Okay.
It's like that Dark Knight scene.
Yeah. Maybe put me in the Batman costume.
Oh.
Okay. You got that for me?
I got you.
Okay. Thank you. So all of these together, Anthony, I want to do good news. It's so tough because we come in and I start doing a story like this. And then I see, hold on. I'm like, you mean to tell me, like when we run our stories, we get follow-ups and stuff. Our AI is built that way. And I get the follow-up this morning and we looked at it. We're like, what do you mean nobody was arrested in that Sunday morning case? Like I couldn't even fathom it. And that just spun us on a spiral down to what the rest of this stuff was, and hearing about, these leaders that are pitching. It's like I don't know. It's like some authoritarian crap where it's like, hey, everybody, we're all good. Everything is great. Go to your local grocery store. It's fully stocked. And then you walk into the grocery store and there's nothing there. And you're like, hold on. No, it's fully stocked. Look, all the shelves are full. And you're looking at blank shelves. No, they're full. Look. And eventually the act is up. And I think that's what a lot of Orlandoians, what do you call Orlandoians? What do we call ourselves? I don't know. People from Orlando are starting to realize is that the act is up for these leaders. Like, stop trying to, finagle the numbers and like, oh, arrests are down. Yeah, maybe arrests are down because when guns go off, you don't do anything. Crazy thought. That's not a far reach. That literally happened less than 48 hours ago. That's what's happening, everybody. Yeah. Don't take any pleasure in bringing that story to anyone today. And anything else on that one, brother?
No. But you know what? I think just keep talking about it. And you know what? As sad as it is, I think we'll make a difference soon. I feel like, or at least make people think and look at the city and try to help and fix it. That's what I'm hoping for.
I agree. And it's an open invitation. Anybody on Orlando City Council wants to come on the show and give me an opportunity to ask you some questions. And don't give me that crap where you try to go, oh, but you can't ask about this and don't ask about that. If you're willing to actually come on a show and answer real questions and then give you a real shot to tell your side of the story, you can come right here. Look at my interview with Chief Smith. Now, listen, maybe somebody disagrees with what the guy said, but man, let me tell you what, the guy was forthcoming. He answered questions directly and put no restrictions on it. It's not something that I've seen from anybody on the city council that's willing to do. This is an open invitation to sit down at this table and to answer questions for the citizens of Central Florida. Come on and answer them. Let's talk about the problems that are really going on. Hold yourself accountable. Answer to the public. You are a public servant. So why don't you come on and answer some questions so that somebody can actually get some answers around here? Not this crap at city council. I'm not doing that crap. People have asked me, Anthony, so many times, Pat, you need to go to the city council meeting and have your voice be heard. No, I'm not. I mean, you ever been to these things, folks? If you have, you know what I'm talking about. It's so much of like a turn your nose up to the citizens type of thing, where the city council sits up there and you come up to the podium and basically they sit there and they time you. They don't care about what you say. You don't get a dialogue with the person. And it's just like, okay, bye. See you later. Thank you, you peasant, for your time and your thoughts. Now get out of here. I'm talking about really sitting down and asking questions, getting answers. But the problem is nobody wants to do it, Anthony. I can make that plea to everybody. We can get millions of views on our stuff and still no one's going to take me up on it, because every single one of them are worried about what we're going to ask. Every one of them okay, well, give me a heads up on what you're going to talk about. Why? So you can plan your canned answer? Why don't you just tell us the truth? And nobody wants to do that. And so for me, it's so frustrating for people of Orlando. I know that if you watch this show, you've seen my frustration grow in the months that we've been doing this, because I feel the same pain that you do. And yet I feel like, Anthony, we have the responsibility, because we have the ability and the platform to try to put as much pressure on these leaders to, at least at a minimum, answer questions for the people of Orlando.
Yeah. I would love one of these days to have a podcast with Mayor Buddy Dyer. You and him.
Me and Buddy Dyer. The likelihood of Buddy Dyer people reaching out to me is about that of me going on the moon. All right. I mean, and I don't blame him. What does Buddy Dyer have to do? We have to gain by, and let's be honest, Buddy Dyer's got nothing to gain by coming here and answering questions. Now, could we get millions of views and all that cool stuff for Buddy Dyer? I'm sure we could, but his people aren't going to let him do that. And just like Patty Sheehan's not going to come on, or Rose Shan, none of these people are going to do it, because they've got political aspirations, right? Mm-hmm. And when you got political aspirations, heaven forbid you have a slip up and say something wrong. But that's the problem that we have in Orlando, is that everybody's got their own political aspirations right now. And so nobody actually wants to address problems. They just want to kick it down the can, or kick the can down the whatever that saying is. And then that way they don't have to be the bad guy, and they can continue to move up in political office. Because what you have is career politicians, I should say, not people that are running small businesses, not people that have to make payroll, not people that understand what it's like to actually have to serve a business, B2B, B2C, or serve a customer, actually have to have a marketing budget, actually have to work within a city. Like, these are things that these individuals don't understand, because they're career politicians and they don't run a business. And so they've got little people around them who do their schedule and decide who can ask them questions. And then we don't get the answers that we want. And they tell you to show up to a nice city council meeting and get your time 2 minutes or whatever it is to sit in front of them while they turn their nose up to you and don't pay attention to a word you say. Mm-hmm. Heaven forbid somebody decide they've actually got a pair, come on here and answer some questions. But we'll get 3 million, 4 million views, but I guess that our platform is not good enough for somebody in the city of Orlando to take their hour of their time and their busy schedule to come on here and maybe perhaps answer some questions that are not just canned and given to them beforehand. Maybe you could just try giving us the truth and not try to rehearse every answer. Say, hey, you know what? I screwed up here and I could do better. What about personal accountability? I'd love to hear that from somebody.
I look at it too. Like when you had Chief Smith on, it was a good thing. At least we got to see his side, his perspective on things, and it made us understand, like, oh, you know what, this is we see his side of why he did this way, or what's going on, or with certain things that we thought of. Mm-hmm. And you know what, it got us into his perspective of, oh, like it helped us understand, oh, what things that he was looking at, and then we expressed some of our concerns. So maybe he's also looking at it like, okay, you know what, this is concerns that he has with downtown, or things that we need to do to be better. So, you know, he's also probably took some things off of his side. Okay, you know, we need to do this better. So it's a way to communicate, help both parties, I think.
I was fair to Chief Smith. I'd be fair to anybody who decides to come on the show. Mm-hmm. Do I disagree with some of the policies? Yeah. Do I disagree with Chief Smith's department and not arresting somebody who has a firearm that goes off in downtown Orlando while he's attempting to pistol whip a guy? Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people do. That's wrong. And you know what? I think if Chief Smith was right here in front of me, he'd say, yeah, we got to work on this. We got to figure out what's going on. Yeah. That's not acceptable. What's happening here? Where did this go wrong? I have to believe for my own sanity that Chief Smith would say that. Mm-hmm. But I gave Chief Smith a very fair interview. All right. We asked the questions that other people want to know. And I would do the same for any city council man or woman. I would do the same with Buddy Dyer. I do the same if somebody wants to come on here who's a leader in Orlando who can effectuate a change, because that matters. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to try to get you a gotcha moment, but at some point, the leaders of this city have got to stop answering to like Fox 35 and West 2 or whatever news outlet that's out there, and start going to outlets like ours and say, you know what, I'm just going to answer some questions honestly, and we're going to see where the chips fall. and let the people make the decision for themselves. If you want to be a real politician in today's world, why don't you have some authenticity? And that's all I'm asking for, Anthony. As a concerned citizen, as somebody who, you know what, I'll get your message out there. Go ahead and come on, answer questions, and let us understand your side of the story, a Patty Sheehan. Because obviously what we are seeing and what I guess you believe are two very completely different things. And I think that these leaders have got to start doing it because they owe it to the citizens of Orlando, Anthony.
Yep.
Our last story of the day is one that me and you had a pretty damn good laugh about this morning, okay? I want to end on something that I think everybody here should be aware of. I don't know how else to say this, man. I never thought I would say this, but T-Mobile is freaking awesome. All right. I mean, for those of you who don't know, I recently had to make a move in my life, and I am not like a big like cable, and I go home and I go to sleep. I work here almost all the time at the office. And so I've been dreading, man, getting cable, like because you know how normally, at least like when I think about getting cable for your house, you got to have like the Spectrum guy or the AT&T guy come out to your house. They have to set up a bunch of equipment, and like it's this whole process, right? No. Not anymore. Not with T-Mobile, bro. I mean, I was shocked at this. Okay. I live over in Winter Park. And you literally go online, you purchase a little box, and it's like $60 a month. They lock in the price for 5 years, and then they deliver the box to your house via DoorDash the same day. Literally. You open box, scan it, and it starts working in 5 minutes. And you've got internet locked in at the same price, $60 a month for the next 5 years. This little box just sits there and it says, put me by a window so I can see outside, is what it says. And so you sit by a window so it can get it gets the satellite from T-Mobile. You don't have to hook up anything. You don't have to plug it into the wall. You don't have to do anything. It's so easy to use. And T-Mobile, I was like, is this really all you have to do? Boom. Couple hours later, delivered via DoorDash from their store. It picks it up just like it does like a bag of food and delivers it right to you. No big plan. You just pay. In fact, I didn't even think I didn't even pay to like the $60 at first. They'll deliver it to you and you get like 30 days later, you get your invoice for $60. It goes directly to your card. And then I took my phone in and I get another discount by switching over my phone plan to T-Mobile. And they paid off what I owed AT&T on top of that. So I walked out there in like 5 minutes, bro.
Dang, dude.
I want to get paid by T-Mobile, but I just thought to myself, I was like, I'm going to do a shout out to how easy T-Mobile makes it to have home internet. And if you're using like some Spectrum or Comcast or whatever else is out there, man, I'm telling you right now, go to T-Mobile and have them deliver this white box. It's about like this.
Yeah.
Sit it down. Put me by the window, and you put it by the window so it can see outside, and you have internet like that. No big plugins. Nobody has to come to your house. No like big policy you have to sign and like to check your credit and put deposits down. I mean, like all the crap you used to have to do. Nope. T-Mobile's got it handled, and they'll give you some serious discounts if you got your phone or your internet, like your cell phone and your home. Man, you could literally be paying under $100 for all of that, and T-Mobile can put it together for you. Like today, you could have that done. Shout out to freaking T-Mobile making moves, bro.
So do you even need the Ethernet plug?
Nope.
Just plug it in. That's
no
it.
Ethernet.
Are you talking about it? And I was like, wait, no way.
Yeah, way.
Dang. That's pretty.
Well, I literally take out the white box. It goes and it says plug me in after you scan the front of it with your phone. It goes you through the setup, and all the phone setup is just getting into the T-Mobile account, like you downloading the app and stuff.
Yeah.
So all you do is do that. You plug it in, and it finds the internet. The reason it has to be by the window is because it's working off of a satellite, and so you're getting great internet without all the Ethernet problems and having to run the cables and do all that crap. Literally in 5 minutes, I've got internet up and running. I was using AI. It was fast speeds. I'm good to go.
Dang.
And then, of course, it's secure on the back of it's like a modem router combination box. So on the back of it, it has like the code and all you do is just use that code. So not like your neighbor's going to log in and be able to use it the same day or anything.
It's kind of funny. It feels like a sponsored segment, but it's.
I know. Like, I feel like I should be like, oh, I'm sponsored by T-Mobile right now, but I'm not. I think that it's really cool when a company gets it right. It's like they figured out where the problem was. Like they figured out that, okay, people really hate coming into the store. people really hate the fact that, okay, if you did do like your cable company has to come out and this guy has to walk in there with like his big tool belt and do all this testing and all this. They don't want that.
Yeah.
People just want like easy. So how about we just get the box, which nobody really knows what's in it. It's like a router modem mixture. How about we just get that delivered to your door via DoorDash? We'll just partner with DoorDash and have it delivered. Like, yes, sign me up for that. And for me, no text, no guy with a tool belt. Just pick up your DoorDash, walk inside, scan it with your phone, and you've got internet in 5 minutes. No cords needed at all. Shout out T-Mobile for fixing this problem and making internet easy inside the home. I am not sponsored by T-Mobile. It sounds like we are right now. It's like an ad read that we're doing, but it's not even a freaking ad read. Like, it's just, I was just mind blown, bro, by how simple it was. Did you make the switch?
I'm going to. I think I'm gonna.
Producer Anthony doing it.
I have T-Mobile, and my Spectrum bill just went up like a couple months ago because I think it was like $80.
Oh my God!
And then it went up to like $120 a month, and I'm like, what the heck? And so I have T-Mobile, and I was looking at it. It's only like $50, $60.
Yeah, if you have like T-Mobile already, you even get a lower price. Exactly.
So I was like, dang, that's almost half of the internet right there. And
yeah,
so I was like, dang.
Yeah, I mean, like, why? For me, I was waiting for the shoe to drop. Like, I was waiting to like, okay, they're going to deliver it. It's not going to work. Yeah. I was waiting when I walked in, like, okay, you're going to make the switch, and now it's going to be you can't keep your phone. You can't keep your phone number. Like, it was going to be this whole big ordeal, and it wasn't. It was just like, oh, you want to do that? Yeah, how much? Okay, cool. Yep. Okay, turn on and off. Okay, you're good. Okay, upload the app. Yep, we see the app. You're good. Okay, you're active. See you later. I was like. So in a period of 48 hours, I could have been an AT&T customer. Now I'm like a T-Mobile customer, and I'm singing their praises because of how easy they actually made it. So I'm a fan, and I like when things like work. Man, they figured it out. Let me tell you. So there we go. Not an ad read, but if you are out there and you want to know what I like and what I'm high on right now, I'm high on freaking T-Mobile.
I realized they had that T-Mobile Tuesday today.
T-Mobile Tuesday. Going to a T-Mobile store and said you heard about it from Patrick Carr. You will get absolutely nothing. They will look at you like you're crazy. But hey, maybe it'll work. I don't know. We have no affiliation with T-Mobile at all. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for making it really easy on me. And if you're out there and you actually do it for yourself, save yourself some money. You will not be disappointed in that. I'll tell you what, Anthony, we covered a lot. We were going to end with the court case, but we came out early with that one with the Supreme Court. We talked about the perception versus the reality of downtown Orlando and why those parking lots are not turning into the paintings that we have seen for so long. We had no arrest, of course, in the downtown shooting from just less than 48 hours ago in T-Mobile. I got right here. It's freaking simple. Now, did you want me to react to anything? Did you have that clip?
Yeah.
Or do you think what do you got? You want to send it to me?
Yeah, I got you. Let me see.
Because you said there was some clip from Barstool. Is that right?
Yeah. Where is it?
If you want to send it to me on Slack, I'll go and watch it. And if you want to, we can put it on the, I don't know if we can put, we can put it on the YouTube when you run the channel, when you run the full.
Yeah, I got you. I just sent it to you.
All right. So for those of you who are watching live, you probably won't be able to see this, but Anthony has told me that there is a clip from Barstool Sports talking about Orlando. He wanted to show me. And so I thought that I would check this out and give a live reaction to it. It's on Instagram Reels. Let's check it out. Playing it right now. Orlando, the worst city to visit. Okay.
Disney is the reason why Orlando is the most visited city in the world.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it gets on a lot of lists for I think I even ranked it as my least favorite city in the U.S.
It's my least favorite city.
But that's because my last time there, only time in Orlando as an adult, we went to Disney Springs, which is not part of the park. It's this outside.
No, it's their shopping area.
Every place there was an hour and a half wait. Yeah, so then we were just driving around Orlando. We tried to go to an Olive Garden. Now it's going to be an hour and a half wait. We had to go to a Denny's for dinner.
Yeah.
And so my only experience in Orlando was just eating dinner at Denny's, and I don't know. And it's kind of the city outside the park is not a great place.
It's not the best city. It's not walkable whatsoever. It's
Oh.
just kind of there, you know. And so yeah, I definitely prefer being in the bubble than outside the bubble when you're there, just because everything's super packed. You can't get anywhere in your car. Like I-4 is horrible to try to travel on whatsoever. So you can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
I did just make a mistake though. Orlando is not the most visited city in the world.
Not in the world, but is
In
it?
the United States, it is.
Okay, yeah.
76 million visitors a year for Orlando.
Wow.
New York only has 63 million. Disney is the
What do you think of that?
Well, I think about what that guy just said about the bubble. He's like, you don't go outside the bubble. And that's what a lot of tourists don't understand, because tourists come here, Anthony, and they think that Disney is Orlando. And they never get a chance to go outside that 10-mile by 10-mile radius, because there's no reason to go outside the 10-mile by 10-mile radius. Like if you're staying in Disney, no one ever tells you as a concierge, drive 15 minutes to downtown Orlando because you want to see the historic district of downtown. There's nothing to go see. And so tourists only get a chance to see Disney, and they associate Disney with Orlando. It's why when I do these stories and people are like, well, you've never been to Milwaukee. Yeah, I have. You've never been to Cleveland. Yeah, I have. You've never been to Orlando. You've been to Disney. Disney is not Orlando. So for all these people out there like, well, you've never been to my city. No, you've never been to Orlando. You've only been to the theme parks. You've only been to Epic Universe, Universal, Disney, Animal Kingdom, whatever you want to say, SeaWorld. That's not Orlando. That's the attractions of Orlando. We're not like Las Vegas here. It's not Las Vegas. The Strip is the downtown of Las Vegas. Orlando, downtown Disney is not downtown Orlando, everybody. Downtown Orlando is 20 minutes away. You can even say that Disney's not actually in the incorporated city of Orlando. It's in Lake Buena Vista. Now, it gets tied into Disney, gets tied into Orlando. But most people that have been to Orlando have never been to the city. They've been to the theme parks. And if they came to our city, they would agree with these guys, Anthony, in that you don't want to step outside of the bubble. Nobody does. Yeah. I'll tell you, I'm with him. He's telling the story that so many people have told about Orlando. Like we tell it every day. It's just that these guys got a chance to experience it for a day or two, trying to travel outside of the Disney bubble and going, what the heck is going on out here? Yeah, I didn't sign up for this. Get me back over here to the theme parks because you can't walk this city. There's nothing to do in this city. I'm going to go back over to the other side right now. Yeah. But that would be my message, bro. Disney ain't Orlando. Disney's a part of Orlando that sits outside in Lake Buena Vista, but it's a small part of the actual geographical area that considered Orlando. Okay, everybody? So, yeah, I'm with these guys, bro. Oh, yeah. I love that clip. It's crazy to see Barstool talking about it. Like worst city. Like, yeah, I've said it, so I can't sit here and disagree with the guys. I mean, we've got to, I don't know how many views on that one video, but I mean, like, yeah, agreed. I hate to say it, but I live here and I want to see it improve. I feel like that's a mission right now, man. It's like, how do we get this thing to improve, bro?
I mean, it'd be cool if downtown looked like City Walk or Disney Springs, or like they updated it, make it
that'd be cool.
That'll be sick. Then we'll have like City Walks, Disney Springs. We'll have downtown Orlando that looks cool.
Heck yeah.
It's not.
Man. Make downtown Orlando like City Walk, and it was like that would look so freaking cool. Yeah, like Spider-Man, like going above in the buildings. I don't care. Like, make it theme that thing out, man. Go all in on it.
Be cool idea if they maybe they give a section or something like where like, hey, Universal, hey Disney, we'll give you this section for free or something. I don't know, something. Whatever products you want, just help us fix it or whatever. I don't know.
My first thought would be, okay, so if you made me mayor, right? Okay, so let's say Patrick becomes mayor of Orlando. People say, well, how do you clean up the city? I think one of the things you have to start when you clean up any place is the way that it looks and the pride that people have with their city. So one of the first things that I would do is I would sit down with Universal. I'd sit down with Disney. I'd sit down with SeaWorld. And I would say, okay, guys, listen, SeaWorld is a great example to start with. There is one exit that comes through I-4 that is for SeaWorld. And everybody knows that exit. You can remember the SeaWorld sign is right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's and so there's a bunch of intersections right there with I-4. And I would say, SeaWorld, listen, I want you to take this exit and make it yours. And I'm going to support you in what you want to do as a city. So if you want Shamu to be jumping over I-4 right here, let's make it happen for you in the next 2 years. We've already got a lot of construction happening on I-4. What is one more project that we can add to it? And then I would go down the street to Universal and Disney, and at the Kirkland exit, at the International Drive exit, at all of these exits where there are, I would say, who wants to take this exit right here? And it might be Universal who takes a couple and Disney takes a couple. And I would say, listen, right now we're going to support you as a city, but we want you to market your business and your theme parks right here on I-4 now. But you're responsible for the upkeep of these exits right now. And so you know what you'd see? It'd start to look like a PGA Boulevard. There is. I don't know if you've been there. So there's a little anyway, not right here. It's outside of Orlando, PGA Boulevard. I think it's South Florida.
Oh, wait, are you talking about West Palm?
Yeah.
Oh,
West
I
Palm.
live by West Palm.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so do you know how pristine that exit looks, PGA Boulevard?
Yeah.
It looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because they take care of it. And what I would do is I would challenge these parks to go, you take care of your exit. Make it your own. Make it something where people go, whoa, SeaWorld, whoa, Spider-Man, whoa, Marvel, the characters. And they're like, the kids would get excited with the understanding that as people are traveling, whether they're be traveling in-state or arriving from MCO, they would look at it and go, man, we're in Disney. We're in Universal. We're in the theme park capital of the world. Because you work with these small businesses. You work with these multi-billion-dollar businesses and you do something that's in it for them. And you go, well, they don't do it. Well, then you know what? I'd go to SeaWorld and say, SeaWorld, you got every exit then. All right. And you know what? All of a sudden Disney would want to do it because they would go, I want the publicity for my park. I want people coming here. If all people do is drive up and down and see SeaWorld, what do you think? They're going to go, I guess we got to go out SeaWorld.
Yeah.
And so you start working with these multi-billion-dollar businesses who are trying to make a profit and compete against one another, and you make Orlando better with them, not against them, not in spite of them. You work with these, and that's how you start to beautify a city. Like you said, what if downtown did look like City Walk? Why is that not possible? It is possible with the money that we have here. I'll give you another example if it's okay, Anthony. Another thing I would look at is how do we do an outreach into UCF to where you have small business entrepreneurs there who want to have office space, who want to work, who want to be a part of a vibrant downtown? And how do we get these single office spaces into downtown so that these guys have a place where they can go and they can collaborate? Right now, if you want to get office space, you're being paying thousands upon thousands every single month. And people who are just starting don't have that option.
Yeah.
So how do you get these recent college graduates in there? You start marketing to them and making spaces for these people to come in to start their businesses. And you know what? Most of them are going to fail, but some of them, they're going to succeed and they're going to hire those other people and they're going to stay in those areas. Okay. And we don't have to try to reinvent the wheel. We have to work with the resources we have, which are multi-billion-dollar businesses. They're the largest tourist destination in the world who take pride in their brand and the way they look. And you've got the largest university that's putting out entrepreneurs right now who are hungry to make a difference. And you give them the place to do it. Come on, Poe. I mean, like, these are the things that, I mean, you want to stamp it on there, Patrick Carr for mayor, if I was to ever go ahead and do it. It's a matter of working with people because you actually have to do that in a small business. You actually have to have a budget. You have to work with the resources you have. You have to figure out what your client needs and you have to provide that to them. Like, these are things that you don't get from experience in government. You get it by actually working with people, actually having to make a living and provide a product that people want. I understand that. It's very clear the leaders of our city don't understand that. And so if people want to know, hey, Pat, what would you do? Put my stamp of approval right on that one, Anthony. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think those are reasonable things that anybody should be looking at right now.
And I feel like you look at, compare like Orlando to like Baltimore. It's like Baltimore used to be the hub of like just an amazing city with like all the, or Detroit, I mean, sorry.
Detroit.
I mean, like all the, like the car culture, all those like big names. And then they all like left Detroit. And so Detroit just became abandoned and what it is today. But Orlando, it's looking kind of like Detroit, but we still have all these amazing theme parks why can't we use their businesses and like help create Orlando what it is today, or like make it great?
I think it's a power game more than anything, and I think that what people realize is that, you know, for someone like a Buddy Dyer or some of the city council, I don't think they want to give up their power.
Yeah.
I think what you have is you have people that have too much pride and they like the fact that we're in control.
Yeah.
You know, my thing is, why are the executives of Disney not involved in our city council? I mean, showing up to meetings, because these people should be, I want them to be a part of it. I don't want to be in control. Like if you said, Patrick, you're mayor tomorrow, all right? And the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to sit down with Disney, I'm going to sit down with Universal, and I'm going to sit down with SeaWorld, all right? I'm going to sit down with all of them. And I'm going to go, how can I serve you? Because that's what a leader does. A leader understands this, Anthony. You don't work for me, okay? Me and you don't have that kind of relationship. I don't sit here and boss you around and tell you what to do every day. We work together. You'll call me out on my crap. Russell, you don't see me walking around here going, do this, do that. Mm-hmm. I ask for people's opinions. I get insight from people that are smarter than me and can serve our clients. And then I do my best to try to serve you or to try to serve anybody else on this team, because leadership is about being a servant of the people, right? And those people right now are you and everybody else. And my job is to provide the best living I can for you and your family, and you do it for me and my family. We both serve one another. It's not like, I don't know, oh man, I got to have power around here. God. And if I did, you'd call me out on it. And cool. That's good. We just don't have leadership like that right now. And it's missing. And it's been missing for a long time. And I'm sure that if you talk to people that are in power, or the people that are the CEOs and running the show at these private companies like your Disneys and Universals, they would say the exact same thing. Yeah. They would look at it and they would go, we'd like to work with the city, but they don't want to work with us. And the city goes, they don't want to work with us. And you have these people that are sitting there in a pissing match. And in the meantime, the people that really do suffer, the citizens of Orlando, who could be benefiting from an amazing partnership that doesn't exist right now.
Fully agree.
So anyways, I appreciate you, Anthony. Anything else we got for the day, brother?
No, great.
A lot of stuff happening, bro. Yeah. Love this one. Love this episode all the way around, everybody. So look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. We'll see if we come with some good news tomorrow. See if Orlando can actually do something right around here. Come on, guys. Help me out here on the show. Myself, producer Anthony, we appreciate you joining us here on a Tuesday afternoon. This is the Patrick Carr Show. See you tomorrow. Anthony, we're good? Yep. See you tomorrow, everybody.